Avi is one of my fun friends whom equally and emotionally crashes from being the brightest bulb to feel secretly dim. We either go out or absolutely extinguish. It is the burden of being deemed the fun ones of a group. It is rare when someone sees that perhaps you are just functionally sad. We roll through life trying to smile through our pain because no one is going to see it, fix it, and we don't want to feel it. Thus, I was both inspired and reality checked by her boozy comment. There's nothing like an open bar for people to unleash their opinions. It was at an open bar a bald record executive declared me ugly, and at another open bar where an influencer asked me why Puerto Ricans are dirty. Something about all that free liquor makes people free in the mouth. And for Mabi, she was holding something in. She slurred, "You're very generous with people." I'm trying to imitate her. You're very generous with people. I smiled, assuming it was a compliment, as it was one of the top Yelp reviews of my personality as a child. In a family that was crossed between being absolutely hilarious and a batch full of rage issues, having a sweet, generous little girl was refreshing. The problem is that in being deemed different, I was not allowed the basic emotion of anger. Even the attempt of a tantrum was cut, and I often got chided for what I could have said than what I did. In a way, it put my earnestness on mute. She continued, "Let everybody in, and I'm surprised." At this point is when I realized what was admired in me as a child had become a warning label about me as an adult. You need to stop that. Not everybody who knocks at your door should be opened, she declared, of which I changed the subject. Yet it stayed with me because if there's one thing I could hold on to and wedge into the depth of my soul, it is a fleeting comment. All my life I was taught that everyone's opinion is valid, but growing up is me learning that that is not true. Some people's opinion is just stupid or ill-intentioned, but my view was not wrong. Like most women going through a bad breakup, she was swimming in the wisdom that enlightens every woman leaving a toxic ex. For her, and me being the usually single friend amidst all of my friends dating and marital escapades, she had grown both an admiration and protection over me that manifested in her refusing I marry an asshole, of which I had dated a few. When I look at my life, I feel it has run on a knock-knock basis, of which anybody that wanted to enter did. My openness was praised and hammered with the parental adage, you take people for who they are, you do not demand of them. It was a truth that was taught to me, like many lessons, the wrong way or from the wrong messengers. You do take people for who they are, but you also choose better people. Mavi was just not alluding to my generosity. She was alluding to the fact that I accepted everyone with warmth and a belief they were innocent until proven guilty. The problem is I ended up murdered. It was a sign of immaturity, but what is the ego if not our inner child's yearning to be loved by those that abandoned it? Okay, so let's unpack this little episode. I've obviously changed my friends' names and stuff, because I'm so famous. But I call it the knock-knock basis, and it's something that I'm really trying to check about myself, which is this idea that just because somebody knocks on your door, you open. And I think we do that a lot, especially people who have suffered from abuse like I did at the hands of my dad. Again, verbal, mental, emotional, financial, never physical. And I elaborate that because I think often people one of the ways he evaded his, accountability for his abuse was that it wasn't physical. And we have a tendency to believe if I don't hit you, then I don't hit you. And the essence of that weird lesson and that weird belief kind of goes with the theme of I would tell my parents about, people that were nice to me, potential friendship breakups, potential breakups with boys. And it was always, take people for who they are. And it was particularly disappointing to hear that message from my mom. But I think in perspective, when you have somebody like my dad was a con artist and he lied about his identity to her. And he committed bigamy and he was always committing scams. And I think when you get somebody like that, as the father of your child, especially somebody so smart like my mom, it kind of totally disrupts how you see people. Because often I hear, oh, you should have known, you should have investigated. And we always underestimate how good people are as liars. And that statement of you take people for who they are is kind of relying on the victim to just heal, just get over it. Just take people for who they are. If they give you malice, heal. If they give you fun, enjoy. If they give you love, take it. If they don't give you love, ignore it. Like, it's just this mentality that makes it seem like a broken heart is the easiest thing to get over. And the truth is, and I saw this with my mom, and I've seen this with some of the exes, like my V's current ex now. Men don't just break your heart, they break your life. They break your reputation. They break your finances. They break you from your family, your friends. They can break your career. There's just this feeling of, if you had just broken my heart, that would have been great. I could heal from that. But you broke my mind. You broke my spirit. You broke my body. Like, they just punish you. And I felt my father punished my mom and in turn used me to punish her because he loved her. And when she found out he was committing bigamy, she ended the relationship. And he would have stayed, and he always wanted to stay. And he spent decades begging her to come back. And I think that watching that dynamic of just having to stay with that emotional mess and burden of a man taught me, and in a way made my mother teach me, you just take people for who they are, as if you can't get rid of them, as if nobody better can come. And sometimes we forget that our friends go through experiences with us. And I have tried to really humble myself, because I really, pain is ego driven. It's very easy to think that you are the only one suffering. And usually when people counter that statement, everybody's been through bad breakups. Everybody's been hurt, everybody. But, A, degrees matter. And B, there's more nuance to that statement. The people that love you get hurt when you get hurt. And if you are getting hurt because you consistently date, befriend, work for, or let jerks enter your life, it is a disrespect to the people that actually love you, that will be there to pick up the pieces, because they have chosen to give you their best, and you will put above them by putting above yourself losers. And that's something that I've seen, which is so ironic, because I don't date that much for how badly I've dated. And when Marie called me out like that, I was like, huh? And it launched this huge existential crisis of whether I was actually picking my partners or letting myself get picked. Was I really choosing who can love me, or just choosing anybody that said they would, and when they didn't, like, working to make sure they did, or that they tried again, or that they learned, only to end up alone again? And that's really hard, because part of what Daddy Recovery is about is kind of taking accountability for the behaviors that my abuser, aka my dad, embedded in me. Because that's how you take back control. Yes, he abused me. He caused me harm. He absolutely destroyed mine and my mother's life. Okay, but he's gone. And now I want to rebuild. And I have to see how I'm behaving like him towards myself. And it is not good. So when I heard her say, this generosity you have of just giving, just walking into people's life and giving, just in hopes they let you stay and you don't even know if you like them, that's immature. That's a child. That's dangerous. And take it from me that I am in this horrible breakup, that's going to catch up to you. And it was, as a child, I was just so known and praised for how generous and sweet I was. There was something shocking and in perspective so relieving to hear somebody say, actually, that's not good. Actually, that is what is breaking you. And it's one of the few moments that really launched this change. So yeah, that's Daddy Recovery, and I hope you enjoy. Check out daddyrecovery.com to read all about it.